What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the attic. Sorry about not getting a video out last week. Life got away from me and I just didn't have time to make one. Although, I do hope you checked out the posts because it turned out to be a pretty good week. Because we didn't have a video last week, we've got to do a review for 2 weeks in a row, so let's get right into it. The first card we've got to look at is One Friday Fights 151. I only found a single wager on this one that I went on to lose, taking a hit of 1.95 units. After that, we had UFC Fight Night Sterling versus Zalal, and it was another bad week of UFC, losing 8.84 units. Finally, we closed out that week with a bonus of $5, bringing the bankroll up to $918.82. So last week, we were working with a unit size of $9.20. This past weekend started off with One Samurai 1, where we made a profit of 5.05 units for an ROI of 35.38%. We had 6 fights, going 5 wins and 1 loss. After that was an early morning UFC card where we did pretty well. I made 11.76 units for an ROI of 21.49%. I won 10 of my 13 wagers. The last card on the week was PFL Sioux Falls, and the bankroll just kept going up. I made a profit of 7.38 units, winning 8 of 11 wagers. Next up, I had a weekly bonus of $5.16, but we're not quite done yet. We did get our first of 5 monthly reloads. This one is $1, but it will total $5 when it's all said and done. It brought my bankroll to $1148.48 for a new all-time high. My unit size this week will be $11.48. That's where the bankroll sits currently, so let's get right into the fights for UFC 328. This card starts off in the men's flyweight division with a battle between Jose Ochoa and Clayton Carpenter. I've got 3 wagers between these 2 fighters, and I have not done well in the past. I've wagered on these guys every single time, but only won 1 out of the 3. In total, I've taken a loss that currently amounts to 0.72 units. This weekend, I can only bet on one of them, but it will be the favorite in Jose Ochoa. He's a minus 175 at the books, and all 3 models are hovering right around 55%. This one cost me 2.63 units. Our second fight is a matchup between Bisanger Susurkayev and Jordan Santos. I've done well betting on Susurkayev and terrible in Santos fights. 3 for 3 and 0 for 2, taking a total loss of 1.11 units. This weekend, I'll again be putting my money on Susurkayev. He's a minus 550 at the books, but the models are not nearly as confident. If you're unfamiliar with my betting strategy, it's very simple. I bet on the fighter where at least 2 of the models are over 50%. If that fighter is a favorite, I bet them to return 1 unit. If that fighter is an underdog, I bet 1 unit on them. If all 3 models agree, I bump up from 1 unit to 1.5 units. In this situation, all 3 models like Bisanger Susurkayev to win, so I risked 8.25 units to return 1.5 units of profit. The third matchup is a featherweight fight between William Gomez and Pat Sabatini. Again, I've only gone 1 for 4 when betting on these two fighters. I've never bet on either one of them to win, and it's cost me just over 1 unit. This weekend, the models have to favor one of them, and it turns out it's going to be the underdog in William Gomez. He's a plus 185 at the books, but all 3 models favor him over 60%. I risked 1.5 units to profit 2.78 units with a win. Next up is a middleweight bout between Roman Kopylov and Marco Tullio. Wager history on this card just has not looked good yet. I've gone 50-50 here and taken a loss of nearly 1 unit. Hopefully this weekend we can turn things around. The models are all pretty confident, between 60 and 68% on Marco Tullio. He's a minus 205 favorite at the books, so I risked 3.08 units. We'll be moving down to lightweight for the next fight, where Jared Gordon will take on Jim Miller. Finally, our betting history starts to look a little bit better. I've gone 2 for 3 on these two fighters and made a profit of 0.94 units. For this fight, we again see all 3 models are pretty confident and in the same range as the last fight. They favor Jared Gordon, who's a minus 300 at the books, so this wager cost me 4.5 units. We'll be staying in the lightweight division, this time for a battle between Grant Dawson and Mateusz Rumbecki. Look at that, 2 fights in a row where we've made profit on our history. We've gone 2 for 3 here, correctly predicting 2 Mateusz losses, but incorrectly predicting a Grant Dawson win. Hopefully this time the prediction in favor of Grant Dawson is correct. He's a minus 175 favorite at the books, and all 3 models are leaning the same direction, so I placed a 2.63 unit wager. Our first welterweight bout of the night will see Yaroslav Amosov taking on Joel Alvarez. This is the best case scenario when looking at wager history. We've gone 2 for 2, making a profit of 1.33 units. We bet on both of these fighters in the past, but we can't do that this time. The models slightly favor Yaroslav Amosov, and he's a minus 185 favorite at the books. I placed a 2.78 unit wager to return 1.5 units with a win. Closing out the undercard is a middleweight matchup between Atiba Gutierrez and Ozzy Diaz. We've got a perfect wager history on Atiba, taking him to win in every single fight. Ozzy Diaz on the other side handed us a loss when he upset Jordan Santos. In total, I've made a profit of 1.49 units. As they always have been in the past, the models are quite confident in Atiba Gutierrez. The books are as well, having him as a minus 1100 favorite. That turns into quite an expensive wager for me, racking in at 16.51 units to return just 1.5 units with a win. Opening the main card is a lightweight bout between King Green and Jeremy Stevens. I've got a 50-50 wager history here, but that has turned into a very substantial loss in my combined history. In total, I'm down 4.4 units. Maybe it's because of his recent upset over Daniel Zellhuber, but the models are all quite confident in King Green, each coming in around 65%. The books also favor him as a minus 325 favorite, so I risked 4.88 units. Our final welterweight bout will be a fight between Sean Brady and Joaquin Buckley. Back to the profit on wager history, perfectly predicting Sean Brady fights and losing the one time we placed a bet on Joaquin Buckley. Hopefully we keep that perfect streak alive on Sean Brady fights because he's a minus 158 favorite at the books and all three models like him in the high 50s. I spent 2.37 units to return 1.5 units with a win. For our feature bout, we've got a heavyweight matchup between Waldo Cortez Acosta and Alexander Volkov. I've really got to find a way to fit more wagers on this screen. I can't even tell you what the full wager history is here. For some reason, I've got it truncated, showing only 5 of 6. I'll get this figured out. Anyway, of all the ones here, I've got a perfect wager history. 7-0, so that means I've got one more Cortez Acosta bet somewhere. Hell of a record, that's all I've got to say. I'm up 3.76 units on these two fighters. For some reason that I can't understand, Waldo Cortez Acosta is a plus 150 underdog at the books. I like him to win. Fortunately, the models like him to win. 2 of them around 61%, the last at almost 68%. I happily wagered 1.5 units here to return 2.25 units with a win. Our co-main event is a flyweight title bout between Tatsuro Taira and Joshua Van. I've got nearly perfect wager history here. I've bet on Taira twice and cashed both of those, and the only one I didn't cash on Joshua Van was when the models bet against him. In total, I've made a profit of 2.82 units. The models are very tight on this one, with 2 of them right around 50%, and the least accurate model coming in at 55% in favor of Tatsuro Taira. He's a minus 165 favorite at the books, so I risked 1.65 units to return 1 unit with a win. Finally, in the main event of the evening, we've got Khamzat Chimaev taking on Sean Strickland for the middleweight championship of the world. Wow. Unfortunately, we closed this out with subpar wager history. I've lost 2 out of the 3 wagers I've made, taking a hit of 3.12 units. We're hoping to do better this weekend, and all 3 models are in favor of Khamzat Chimaev. He's a minus 600 favorite at the books, so I had to risk 9 units to return 1.5 units with a win. That's all the fights currently on this card, so let's flip over to the totals and see where all the money went. On UFC 328, I placed 13 wagers, 11 of them being on favorites, 10 of them confident, with the only exception being Tatsuro Taira in the co-main event. The other 2 wagers came in on underdogs. Both of those were confident predictions from the models. My total wager history has 51 bets on it. 37 were favorites, 13 underdogs, and 1 pick'em. And unfortunately, for the first time since I started this, my total profit is coming in at a loss. It's only 0.31 units, but it is still a loss. My total risked on this card is 61.27 units, and my potential return is 21.04 units. With a perfect night, I would have an ROI of 34.33%. There's no other fight cards this week with eligible fights to make predictions on, so that's all I've got for you. If you want to see predictions for other promotions in the future, check out the Patreon. As always, thanks for watching, and good luck on all of your bets this weekend.